さて、よろしいですか？そろそろお時間になりましたので、太郎ホテルスウェビナーを進めていきたいと思います。私は、太郎のチーフエディター、金の七重です。よろしくお願いします。で、with me、
タロのテクニカルを管轄してます。浜本です。よろしくお願いいたしま
よろ
す。
しくお願いします。そして、3つ目の画面に、プライマル、今日のお客様のプライマルアドベンチャーズの創立者の方がいらっしゃってるんですけれども、ちょっと時差の関係で、気づかあ、いらっしゃいました。髪の毛を今、整えていらっしゃいました。すいません。
Okay, guys.
Okay, so we opened the webinar.
I'm just going to try and see if I could change my background quickly, if that's all right.
Sure. Okay. 今ちょっとバックグラウンドを変えたいということで、マットさんの方がテクニックな部分を、調整しています。で、I'm just going to introduce
Yeah, okay, no problem.
webinar. Yes. So with me here is Primal Adventures founder and wonderful programs such as Highland Kings, Mr. Matt Smith. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
And you're joining us from Scotland, am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. All the way from sunny Scotland, the sun is shining.
Okay, wonderful. で、今回、太郎ウェビナーシリーズ第7回ということで、7回目のラグジュアリープレイヤーは現在どう動いているということで、今回のタイトルが、桁外れのラグジュアリー&エクストリームレースということで、目標とするのは自己改革というのがキーワードです。で、今日は、そのマット・スミスさんの方に、この今のラグジュアリー・ミーツ・エクストリーム・レース、こちらのツアーなどをご提供されているんですけれども、こちらの方のインスピレーションとなる、どうしてこういうふうなレースを始めたのか、そしてまた今、今月のホテレスの8月の、合併号でもウェルネスの特集のリサーチを私たちもいろいろしたんですけれども、その時も本当に各国の太郎チームの方がアジアからヨーロッパまで、今の本当に最先端を行くウェルネス分野のトッププレイヤーの方たちといろいろお話を聞くことができました。で、その中でも本当にこれは面白い。日本の方たちにぜひ紹介したいなと思った方たちをこれから、ご紹介させていただきたいと思っています。で、このウェルネスの定義なんですけれども、これがいろいろ多様化していて、ただ健康でいるということだけではなくって、精神的、肉体的な健康、そしてそれをいろいろな方たちがサポートしてくださるというふうなビジネスが世界中で今流行っている感じがします。多分イメージ的には私が思ったのがF1 のレースが車などがピットストップに入ったりしてそこでわーっと技術者の人たちが来て、タイヤだなんだっていろいろ手助けしてそれから一番いいコンディションで車と運転手が今度はまたレースに挑むというふうなそういう感じでいろんな、各種の、スペシャリストの方たちが、その、クリニックであったりこのレースであったり、こういうところに行って、そういう方たちがあなたのメンタルの部分、あと、フィジカルの部分、いろんなところのをチェックして、チェックアップをして、そしてあなたのための、もう本当にハイパーパーソナライズされたような、スペシャリストの方たちが一番のコンディションで、いろいろな分野に挑む。そしてまた1年間、またこれからの1年間、ベストのコンディションで1年間を送ることができる。そういうことをされているというのが、今のウェルネスの定義なんじゃないかと思いました。で、今回の、マットさんの方も、まずはプレゼンテーションから入りまして、いろいろその、キーポイントのあるハイランドキングスのレースであったり、そのようなタイプの耐久性、心身ともに耐久性を用いる、が必要なエクストリームスポーツに関してそのベネフィットなどを教えていただきたいと思っております。So Matt, without further ado, if we could go ahead and get started with your presentation and introduction, perhaps.
Yeah, great. Well, do you need to translate in between or should we just...
Yeah, our listeners can understand English.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone from Scotland. My name's Matthew, and I'd like to chat to you about Highland Kings, the world's most expensive ultra race, and the reason that's the case. It's the first of its kind in the world, and we're very excited to launch it again next year. We launched it last year, and there was a lot of publicity, and a lot of people were really excited and interested about it. So I'm really proud and excited to tell you a little bit more about the story now that it's actually ran, and you can see how it came about and the people who helped make it. And I get to tell you a lot more about my beautiful country, Scotland, that I'm proud to live in. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So here it goes.
So I'm going to set the tone a little bit for them. One more thing I'm going to mention. 今回の、本当にこのハイランドキングズってものすごく海外の方でもすごい人気で、BBC、CNN、こういうふうなメディアにもすごい取り上げられたんですね。で、今年の4月が初めてで、彼たちのそのコピーが Race like a warrior, recover like a king 戦士のように走れ、王者のように立ち直れというのがキーワードで、4日間の間120マイルを、カバーする。そして金額が250万。で、それでものすごくやっぱり話題性が出て、これは一体どういうものなんだと。で、これ世界中から40人のランナーが7ヶ月をかけて準備する。プライベートジェットに乗り込み、豪華で贅沢なリカバリー施設にはフィジカルとかメンタルのトレーナーの方たちがいらっしゃって、でもそれだけではなくって、バトラーサービス、ハイドロセラピー、ミシュランシェフなどが、至れり尽くせりでいろいろ迎えてくれるというふうなレースですね。こういうふうなバックグラウンドですので、さて、この内容を少し、説明していただきましょう。Okay, go ahead.
Cheers, guys. So yeah, I'm going to do a little screen share, folks. I've got quite a good presentation. It's not too long, I hope, and it's mixed up with video and pictures. So break it up a bit. I'll just go on to screen share. Hopefully this will work. Okay, can you see that, Nano? Nano,
Yes,
sorry.
You can. Looks fine.
Okay, excellent. Okay.
Beautiful.
So here we go, folks. Highland Kings. Firstly, I want to tell you how Highland Kings came about. As a local lad on the west coast of Scotland, I grew up and I was passionate about the hills and the mountains and the seasides, and so I was always out running about and getting up to mischief and adventures. And when I was 18, I joined the military, and I was in the military for 22 years. And during that time, I specialised in running expeditions and taking people out of their comfort zone and trying different things. I served with airborne forces, commando forces. I was special forces for 6 years. And then when I left in 2016, I formed Primal Adventures. But I actually had this set up and running back in about 2014 when I was still in the military. And we specialise in taking people out into the wilds, doing wilderness living, doing survival skills, allowing them to experience our rich Scottish culture and our heritage. And then we would take them on, cool adventures, and then we would bring them back to either a nice castle or a hotel. And we called it Go Wild in Style. And this was the start of Highland Kings, but I didn't know it. And it was way back in 2018. So I have a short video that kind of sums it up, what Primal Adventures is all about and how the journey began. So hopefully you can hear this.
The West Coast of Scotland is beautiful. When you bring together the Isle of Arran, Loch Lomond, the West Highland Way, Glencoe, Ben Nevis, and Lochnair, one awesome adventure. People coming on this trip, people that are looking for a bit of a challenge, looking to get in the good outdoors. You'll learn a lot about survival mentality, survival mindset. You'll learn some practical skills to build faith in a world of survival. I think it gives you the extra confidence to be up on the hills. You can start a fire with minimal equipment. The best bit about it is a chance to learn something new every day. It takes you back to nature. There's something really primal about it. Everybody gets a chance to be themselves. It's about being physically, but also mentally. It's a trip of a lifetime. Expressed going through the highs and the lows, quite emotional, but
So there you go, folks. That was a bit of a taste of how Highland Kings came about, and you can see there some of the scenery that the route takes in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So after we completed that event, it was a bespoke experience for a small group. We're always looking to improve and make things better. We decided how can we take this to the next level. And then that was the start of Highland Kings. It had never been done before, where we take a group of people and show them some of the highlights of Scotland, but also introduce them to, not having to rough it, I suppose, not sleeping in a tent with other people, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Having your own space to relax, having your own space to recover, having your own space to have that, I suppose the mental space to relax and have physiotherapy on an evening and some nice treatments. So we really decided to look at that a bit more and develop Highland Kings. So as you're probably already aware, Highland Kings is 120 miles over 4 days. Athletes cover 30 miles a day. And it really is a life-changing journey. We've had people come on this who have started being able to run something like 10 kilometers, not a great distance. And through the coaching, through the journey, the 6-month journey, which I'll chat a little bit more about, it really gives them the experience and the knowledge, and more importantly, the confidence to come on something like Highland Kings and take part on it. And our strapline is race like a warrior, recover like a king. And you can push yourself mentally and physically, and you can be out your comfort zone. And at the end of most races, you're still going to be in that kind of rough environment, whereas Highland Kings delivers that little bit of prestige where you can allow yourself to relax in a comfortable setting with like-minded individuals and be looked after and have a little bit of comfort. I think it's important to talk about the history and the different aspects of the culture and the route, and why Highland Kings is Highland Kings. So Scotland does have a deep, diverse culture and history of its people and the land and conflict, and how that was shaped. So we talk about that on the story throughout the journey, and it goes back to Kenneth MacAlpine, who was the first king of Scotland, who united Scotland with the Picts and Dalriada, the Scots from the west coast of Scotland. And then we go on and talk about the clans and clan warfare. We look at Robert the Bruce, who ended up uniting Scotland. And we've got a short video that kind of brings that together and kind of ties in with the Highland Kings story. So how do we get you there, folks? How do we take, you know, experienced runners or someone who doesn't have that much training and get them to the start line of Highland Kings? Well, what's unique about the journey is the 6-month athlete support journey that we allow people to take part in. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about that. The team that we use to help everyone partake in the journey is absolutely world class. They're elite ambassadors, consultants from around the world. They're very specialist in their area of expertise. We use Olympic physiotherapists, Michelin star chefs, we've got world-class ultra runners, and we give you access to people that you just wouldn't normally have access to if you were training for an event like this. Okay, I'll just see if we can get this going. Okay, so who makes up the team? Well, the team's a lot bigger than this, but these are the kind of headquarters element, as I like to call it, or the main team that you'll be having a relationship with on the 6-month journey. You have myself, who will be guiding you through the route and telling you a bit more about Highland Kings on the journey from the start to the finish. You have Rebecca, who will be helping you with all the back end planning. So if you wanted to bring family and friends across, or people to support you on the route, Rebecca will help you with accommodation and with transportation. And it's a really, really great option to have people there to support you at the end of the journey, should you wish that. We've got our ambassadors. We've got Jonathan Albon, who's the world champion, Ultra Trail, Mount Blanc. And we'll talk a little bit more about John in a minute. We'll get Alan Murchison, who's elite sports chef. He has his own company. He takes high-end athletes and really narrows down their nutrition and gives them specific dietary training plans. And then we maintain that on Highland Kings, so everyone has the right amount of nutrition and food and tailored support for their nutritional needs. We have Tom Lowe, who's also ex-Special Forces. He has some great accolades in the triathlon world, top athlete, and he runs his own comms company, so he'll be doing all the safety comms support. We have Elliot Chauffeur, who works for Porsche Human Performance, and we'll be taking you through full body biometric testing, and we'll chat a little bit more about that in a bit. Alison Rose, she is physiotherapist for some of the UK's top Olympic athletes. She'll be there with her team on the event, whether it's through the race, at checkpoints, or on an evening. She'll be giving you physiotherapy support and massage support, and just helping you get rid of any niggles that you may have, so that you're fighting fit for the next day and you're ready to go. We have Anna Marie Watson, who's our female ambassador, and she'll be taking you through the sports, mental health coaching, giving you some top tips and kind of hooks and anchors for allowing you to push through boundaries and with your training also. And we have Ryan Sonsa-Boyd, who's our sports consultant, who's organised and helped races all over the world. And he has a great network of sports personalities to bring on board and help you through the Highland Kings journey. So I'd like to chat a little bit more about Jonathan Albon. So Jonathan's got some great world titles. He started off doing Spartan Rain obstacle courses for a laugh, and they ended up winning them very easily. He then went on to win the Spartan European Championship and tough guy races. He then moved to Norway and he started training for sky running and he won the Sky Running World Series in 2017, and then before becoming world champion a year later. And then on to the Trail World Championships in 2019, and his accolades just keep stacking up, and he's recently won the Mount Blanc Ultra Trail Marathons I think for the past 2 years running. So to have someone like John coach you and train you from day one is really, really special, and that was something that people commented about on Highland Kings, was you just wouldn't get access to these type of world-class athletes, and it really is game-changing, from top tips about when to up your training and when to take it off and relax. Really, really specific top tips to help you on your journey. We've got Anna Marie Watson, who was ex-military for around 9 years, and she has lots of accolades in the ultra world, but her main forte is also coaching, and with the military background and with the coaching and mental health, she comes out with some really good mental coaching, and to give you that extra edge when you're flagging or you just need a little bit more motivation. It's sometimes good not just to have the physical package, but also the mental package as well. And she's went on to win the Mount Blanc Ultra Trail. She came, I think it was 7th for the females. So Anna Marie is going to be with you for the 6-month journey also, and she'll be there on the actual race event as well. And she'll be with you throughout the 4 days, and she'll be available on an evening for chats. And that's what makes Highland Kings a little bit extra special, having access to these top athletes. We have Elliot Chauffeur, who works at the Human Performance, and everyone gets a full biometric body test, whether it's how much you sweat, from your sweat body composition down to your lactic acid, to your VO2 max. So we really know how far you can push yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally to help you throughout that journey. So when you get to the start line of Highland Kings, you're in peak physical performance. And how this works is we send you along to your local university. If it has a sporting facility at the university, they can do all these tests, and we send them over to Silverstone in the UK, and then we fine-tune them and get the results, and we send them back to you. So from Japan, you don't need to come to Silverstone to get this done. Most universities have the facilities, and we then send it over and send it back to you. Along with the coaching, we have some great equipment to help you on your journey. We work closely with precision fuel and hydration to make sure you've got the right amount of gels, and make sure how much salt you're sweating out, you're actually getting that back into your body in the right amount of it. From all your clothing and your equipment. We also give you a Garmin top of the range watch, and a whip strap that goes around to monitor your heart rate. So from the start of the journey, you know how far you're pushing yourself and how much or how little to do so. One of the big things is the terrain, and we had people from all over the world come on Highland Kings this year, and we had a lovely father and son from Singapore, and they told us their highest mountain was 150 meters. So when they came to Scotland, they were a bit surprised. They knew what to expect, but actually going up a mountain is something different.
Wow.
So during Highland Kings, you'll cover everything from mountain paths to coastal paths, along beaches, forest trails, high mountain passes. It truly is breathtaking scenery, and it's one of the appeals of coming to Scotland. It's absolutely stunning. So I've got a few pictures here to show you. So this famous Glen is it's the three sisters in Glencoe, and you're going to be running down that. So it's absolutely breathtaking, and it's a very big tourist capture area, but you can see that it's pretty stunning scenery. I think it's important to talk a little bit about the personal touches and the kind of finer details of Highland Kings. So when you are on the race, not just throughout the race, but on an evening, is just having the personal touch of having a butler come and care for your needs, whether that's, you know, just taking out your laundry, or one of the things the guys and ladies really liked was being woken up with a fresh ground morning coffee, and that's available 24/7. So when you're on the race as well, there's also, you know, fresh coffee waiting for you should you need it. And that was a really big highlight that everyone loved. So here we see one of the butlers waking someone up with a nice morning coffee, something to look forward to. And it really does make a difference when mentally and physically and emotionally you're tired, and you know you've just got that additional support and people there to help you out throughout your journey. It's not just with the butlers, but we have the aftercare from the support team, briefing you on the routes and having that additional safety backup, and also the relationships that you build with people. A lot of the athletes commented on the intimacy, I suppose is the right word, and the connections that you form with people and the staff. Everyone really had an amazing time, and it was because the numbers weren't so high. Everyone just connected really well, and we weren't overrun with the product wasn't like diluted. So it was a really nice. It was a really nice thing to experience. So the physiotherapists will be there every day at the checkpoints and on an evening to help you out if you get any niggles. Obviously, we have the mountain safety staff and support runners following you every step of the way and sweeping up the route. And the route is obviously clearly marked with Highland Kings flags. So there's, along with the route markings and your GPS watch and your safety runners, and you also you'll be being tracked with trackers. You're in safe hands. Yeah, there's a guys chilling out. And the whole team, it's that teamwork, like I alluded to at the start, because the numbers are very exclusive and very small, that personal relationship makes a big difference, and that carries on throughout the race. You know, from when you get up in the morning until you finish on the end. This lady here on the right, this is Sian, and she was 60 years old. So, you know, age really isn't a factor. It's all in the mind. And Sian, she done really well. She completed it this year. So food and fueling, big part of the event. All freshly sourced and locally sourced by Alan Murchison, who's our head chef. He's trained in Michelin star restaurants, but you don't get Michelin star portions. It's all locally sourced, healthy food, and you can have as much or as little as you need, and so you won't be hungry on an evening. That's for sure. And the team were there to support you every step of the way. Accommodation, it's all individual bell tent pods, and butlers are there to help you 24/7. We also have our lounge, our athletes lounge area, where the athletes can come and chill out and relax. And there's like nice little personal touches in your bell tents and everything, just to make it that little bit more comfortable and a little bit home from home. This is Lionel and Leo. That's a father and son. and they had a great time. It was their first time in Scotland, and Leo on the left, he's 17 years old, and yeah, it was a really, really special trip for them, but they loved it.
And they came from Singapore?
Yeah, they came from Singapore, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they came over. And there was another female came over from Singapore as well. I'll see if I can find a picture in a minute. Mm-hmm. So the great thing I love about Japan and is like the cultural, the history, and it's very similar to Scotland, that we have so much history that's alike, from our food and our drink and our music, and from engineering and architecture and clothing. I mean, it's one place I'd love to go. I haven't had a chance to go yet, but maybe in the future I can come over to Japan for a visit. But
yeah,
we'd really love you guys. Yeah, thanks. You guys to experience the culture of Scotland, meet some of the locals. The deer come right down onto the road, and you'll be running past them. And obviously, I couldn't give a brief and not talk about the whiskey. I do like a wee dram now and again, but yeah, I know Japan's got a good heritage of whiskey. So, and also, you know, lively culture and music on an evening. On the last day, we like to come together and just relax and unwind and bring our family and friends and listen to some traditional music and have a nice meal and really just let the dust settle and mentally, physically, and emotionally just get all that out with family and friends. And it's a really, really good environment to be in before we finish up. So a big part of the whole route is tying in with the environment and sustainability, and we work closely with Nature Scot and Wild Scotland and the Forestry Land and Commission to ensure that it's kept the way we found it, and we're not disturbing any natural habitats, whether that's nests of birds or in the natural flora and fauna. And also, because our numbers are so low, our impact is minimal, which also helps. We've got some great collaborative suppliers and brands that we use. And so as the journey goes on, it's really helpful to have these kind of ambassadors backing us, which is great. And yeah, this is me coming to the end, folks. It truly is an unparalleled journey. I hope you've enjoyed the chat. I mean, there's so much more I could talk about, but I'm conscious time's getting on, and I'm happy to take questions. The event.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Sorry, Nana. Just before I finished up, that's Sian there, and she's, like I say, she's 60, and she's coming back next year, along with she's bringing her partner and along with 3 other people. So it's really cool, you know. It's good to see. Yeah, I'll stop.
Was she one of the older person that attended?
She was the oldest. Yeah,
she was the oldest, and the youngest was the 17-year-old.
Yeah, the youngest was 17.
Okay.
So we had people from the UK, from Singapore, Germany, Switzerland, America. We were going to have people from Australia and Russia come over, but the COVID and it didn't happen. But,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to welcome people to ask their questions if they have.
Yeah.
And 皆さんここから先は質疑応答という感じで、何かご質問とかある方は言ってくだされば手を挙げていただいて、この部分は通訳させていただきますので、何かご質問などがある方はこのチャンスにどんどん聞いてくださっていただきたいと思います。私個人的にちょっと気になったことが一つあって、なんかポルシェって出てたのが私気になって、でこの前も別の時に彼にちょっとお話聞いたんですけれども、what kind of stuck to me it was the word Porsche, and I know it's like a Porsche, it's a physiological center. Am I right?
Yeah, it's Human Performance Center here in the UK at Silverstone, and if people can make it to the Silverstone Center, then great. But what we do is we send them to the local university that has some of the. If it's a sporting university, we can find that out the nearest one to you, and we can send them to there, and they can get that information.
Okay.
We send it back to Silverstone, and they process it, and then we send it back over.
Okay.
This is for the 6 month leading up to the race, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, Imano, is it actually related to Porsche as the car Porsche?
Yeah, it's this. So where our Porsche Formula One racers go to train. So you're actually getting Formula One training, Formula One biometrics that actually racers get. I also mentioned there's a question came in there. There is Wi-Fi at the campsite, so you can have Wi-Fi and you can bring your computers, and there's phone signal. So that's not a problem.
And during the race?
Yeah, if you're running, you won't be on your phone, I don't think.
Yeah.
But when you start and when you finish, it depends what phone signal company you're on. During the race, there will be signal. So yeah,
there will be signal. Okay.
And certain at the top of the mountains, no, but at the bottom, yes. Yeah.
さっきのご質問で、そのインターネット、SIM カードなどをこのレース中どこでも使えるんですかという質問なんですけれども、一応どこでも使えますということです。ただ、キャリアによっては使える人、使えない、リセプションが強い、弱いというのはありますけれども、実際のその皆さんが一日終えて行く集う場所というの、そこの場所にはもちろん携帯、iPhone であったり、PC なども全部作られますということです。先ほど私がちょっと気になっていて、ポルシェという名前だったんですけど、ポルシェってどうしても車のことも言いますけれども、もう全くその通りで、最初に述べたように、やっぱりフォーミュラ1のような感覚で、やっぱり皆さんが全体的な、総合的な検査ができるところらしいんですね。でそれは車だけではなくて、やっぱり先ほどのお話だと、総合的にその体質や人間の体質や体調などを管理してチェックをするということで、そこはラボラトリーになっていて、運動科学とコーチングが一緒になったような場所らしいですね。このお話の中でも結構出てきたんですけど、コーチングって結構大切なポイントな感じがしました。Throughout your presentation, I had a feeling that, this really is sort of based on people-to-people connection, other people kind of motivating you, supporting you, being there for you, to keep pushing you, and to reach that level of confidence, etc.
Yeah.
And so
totally.
these people are sort of they're coaches, yeah.
So just having access to the athletes on an evening, like the consultants, and having the support actually on the race, and these athletes are running with you. A lot of people commented how you just wouldn't have that, and how much of an awesome experience it was. And then obviously on an evening with the physiotherapy, with the butlers, and having like a lot of people just wanted to chill out, but all the facilities were there for them to get as much information as they wanted, or as little as they wanted.
やっぱり皆さん、そのコーチ的なメンタルの部分とフィジカルの部分でもうちょっとできるよ。君だったらもう一歩できる。もうちょっとできる。そういうふうなプッシュがあってこそ、やっぱり皆さん、やっぱり自分だけではできなかった。そういう方たちが周りについてきて、言ってくださったから、もっと克服できることがいろいろあったというふうなフィードバックもあったということなので、やっぱりコーチングの力というのは結構多いですね。見つけたなんかご質問ありましたよね。
そうですね。Well, I have one question, a couple questions, but as we were on the subject, about the training part. So some of the people you said they're planning to come back next year. So would they have to go through that 6-month period of training again, or they're kind of ready, fit, like physically and endurance wise, like up to that level where they can just kind of like not shortcut, but kind of, join the race?
No, it's a great question. So
right
what we say to returning runners is they can do the 6-month journey if they want, or they can choose not to.
Okay.
And we have a discount available for that, but that's only really available for people who have done the first one, because they know what to expect. We've had semi-professional runners come on it and absolute novices, and they've all said how beneficial the 6-month journey was. So the returning, we've got 30% of returning runners for next year, and they've roped in their family and friends, which is good.
Right.
Which is a sign that the product works, and it's like it's a great event, because if they didn't come back, I'd be concerned.
Right. Also, what kind of people these people are, like the guests that you, the 40 people who joined the race? What kind of background are they? Like, are they like business owners or like just retired seniors, or usually like what's their background?
No, that's a great question. Sorry, folks, can you hear that background noise? I've got a guy's just decided to cut my grass outside my front door. Can you hear it? I don't know. Is that annoying? Sorry. So, no, great question. So 30% of the people were, I would say, just working class people who we had a policeman, we had people from the fire brigade, we had engineers. Because it is a large ticket price, people think it's very elitist and it's only people with money that can come on this. And I really disagree with that, because these people work hard to. We had a couple who were getting married and they used this as their honeymoon present to each other. And so if you work hard for something and you save up, then there's nothing wrong with coming in and having an experience that is something that's going to stay with you for a lifetime. 30% were, I would say, of the kind of 45 to 60 area, senior executives, CEOs, working in the kind of investment banking world. And then I would say the other 30% were kind of just middle-aged, people who are keen, fit, and just, were wanted to push themselves and just, we're in good jobs. I couldn't really specifically narrow that down.
Sure.
But it was a really wide spread of 30% were female, 30% were from the UK, the rest were international. But yeah, so there was that kind of that 30% of the kind of the more senior level kind of high execs. But those everyone really connected, but you could see little groups of people form of like-minded individuals, and those friendships continued throughout, even to now. There's one of the person who won it, he's coming back to defend his title, and it's quite funny, and he's formed his own little group of people and stuff. It's really nice to see, and that journey starts from the start, because you can see everyone on the 6-month journey when they start, and everyone's a bit standoffish, and then we have a Strava group where everyone can see how well everyone's training and progressing, and then that motivates people. It's like, well, he's going out training, so I'm going to go out training, and he's doing. It's quite nice to see that these relationships form, and yeah, it's great.
You had mentioned that there's people from all walks of life, basically, and it sounds like though a lot of people who have quite in certain position, I think it seems like they like to go through this challenge, or they like to put themselves through physical and mental challenge. Perhaps it's maybe a opportunity for them to kind of transform themselves and see how far they can get with things. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, what is life? It's a journey of discovery, and you only ever grow when you kind of step out your comfort zone and push yourself a little bit. Highland Kings allows you to do that in a safe and controlled environment, and then with like-minded people. And so I've been a big fan of that. Through the military is stepping out your comfort zone and challenging yourself. And I suppose that's where kind of Highland Kings came from. Now I'm out of the military, I don't have that buzz, so I have to go and look for it myself. And yeah, it's quite, it's I think we need it. I think as humans we're born to run and swim and dive and sprint and crawl and come to new places and meet new people and experience new things, and that's what life's all about. So yeah, I hope that's answered your question.
私の質問が本当にいろんな方たち重役の方もいらっしゃったり、こういう、若い方もいらっしゃる、いろんな方がいらっしゃってるんですけれども、やっぱりその中心となるのはやっぱりみんな人間っていうのは自分自身いろんなチャレンジをしたりとか、そういうことでもっとメンタルにもフィジカルにももっと強くなる、そういう場所を探しているでしょうかねっていう質問だったんですけど、僕自身もマットさんは SAS 英国の特殊部隊にいらっしゃったんですね。だからもちろんサバイバル系のことはもう得意というかお好きでそういうお仕事に疲れてたと思うんですけども、22年ですか、それも。で、そういうのが今のやっぱり人間というのは基本的に体を動かしていろんなチャレンジを を克服していくっていうのは人間の、策なんじゃないかというふうなお話だったので、さっきのお話でそのstep out of your comfort zone、そのぬくぬくとした、毎日の生活から抜け出せみたいなのが自分のモットーだということなので、これは本当に、世界的にもなかなか持っていけるものなんじゃないかなという気はしているんですが、You had mentioned, for example, I mean, do you find yourself like, you have never been to Japan yet?
No, I haven't. I know. I'd love to go. No, no.
So I'm wondering, like, you've heard of Mount Fuji. There's
Yes.
lots of nature in Japan. Do you think, down the line, this is something that you might consider bringing it to Japan, for example?
Oh, wow. Yeah, what a great question. Yeah. I would love to grow Highland Kings internationally. And next on my radar is Japan, funnily enough. I'd love to come to Japan and do a Highland Kings, maybe call it something a little bit different, but have that strapline in there, definitely. You guys tick all the boxes. So the scenery, the kind of history, the culture. I mean, the history. I'm a bit of a history geek, and so I love like Japanese history and culture. Yeah, I'd love to go. But I'm married with 4 young kids, so I've got to maybe have to bring the wife.
Bring them all.
Bring them up. Yeah.
Right. So in time, do you see it sounds like you have repeaters already.
Mm-hmm.
They can incorporate the whole cultural and sort of this race experience, physical experience in another country.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people, it was actually brothers from America. They said, Matt, if you had this in Japan, we'd sign up now. And I was like, give me a chance, give me a chance. I've just started, But, I would love to have it in Asia and America and a good 4 or 5, and then have like a World Series or something, but just keep it really niche and bespoke, and not go too crazy. And that way you don't water down the product, and the experience. I think that's important.
スピリットがやっぱりこのスピリットが大切ということで、このハイランドキングス的なスピリット、それの中にはその文化的、歴史的な要素もあるし、それを学びながらやっぱり体を動かす。で、彼が先ほど何度かやっぱり日本でこれがあったら行きたいよっていうようなもうお客様がいらっしゃるみたいなので、そうですよね。だから日本でやるから日本の人が行くんじゃなくって、外国の彼のリピーターの方たちが次はどこだという感じで、世界的にこういう、プランが作れるといいなって。でも、そのハイランドキングス的なスピリットは失わないように、どこでもではないけれども、そのうちのトップ1で一つ考えてるのはやっぱり日本だねっていうことだったので、ぜひ日本に来ていただきたいと思いますが、先ほど、ご質問で、to promote your program, can I get a sample itinerary for the race and 6 months support? That was one of the questions that we had received. So
the 6-month journey, it's a weekly webinar that we do like this, and we have like a key guest speaker, whether it's Jonathan Albin or myself or one of the team will come on, and we'll basically answer any questions. But there'll be a format whether we're either talking about training or nutrition or specific to the journey. So whether it's just talking about the route and what you're going to experience, because some of the training is totally different to Japan. The mental health and the coaching part is a big part of it also, and just really top tips for you along the journey. So we could send like maybe a sample to yourself, and you could send something out, Nana, to your viewers. But yeah, we could look at that. That's not a problem. Did that answer the question?
Yes, I think so. 今のご質問で、このサンプルの、大体その6ヶ月間と7ヶ月間、いろいろ、そのための準備期間があるということで、こういうふうなウェビナー形式で皆さんと Zoom でつながって、そのスペシャリストの方たちがサポートしてくださるということなんですけれども、そのサンプルに関しては、皆さんと一緒にシェアさせていただきたいと思いますので、今質問していただいた方、もしあれでしたら、メールアドレスをいただければ、皆さんとそこもシェアさせていただきたいとは思います。そしてあと、先ほど一番初めのところでいろいろ映像を見せていただいたんですけれども、結構素晴らしい画像で、結構重くなってしまって、オーディオとのすいません、ちょっとずれがあったので、音が今一つ聞けなかったので、もしあれでしたら、マットさんの方からそのリンクもいただいて、皆さんで見れるように、リンクもお送りさせていただきたいと 思っています。Unfortunately, in the very beginning, when you showed us the presentation, there was a bit of lag because the file was really big with the audio.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can send us a link which I can share for people that are interested in seeing that.
Of course.
Yeah.
One of the videos is on YouTube. So do you want me to try and do that now, or?
Yes, if you want to post it on
Okay. And the other ones, I think they're just on my computer, so I may have to send you them, and you could maybe forward them on if that's all right.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find you the thing.
I can follow up with. I have this individual's email address, so I can follow it up with him.
Okay, no problem. I'll just find the. I can chat while I'm doing this if you need me to answer any.
Okay, that's brilliant. ということで、そのサンプルのアイテナリー、そしてまたどういうふうなことが行われるのかみたいなのと、あとその最初の方での映像、そちらの方へのリンクも、共有させていただきたいと思います。ゆきさん、いかがですか？他に何か今聞きたいこととか内容があれば。
そうですね。皆さんいかがでしょう？皆さんのこちらの方以外にも質問とか、参加者の方ね、参加者の方でいらっしゃれば。
I have another question, and it has to do with, I think there's a possibility of, definitely, aside from this race, before and after incorporating sort of a tour, right? Of Scotland or of neighboring places. Do you actually offer that as well?
We were discussing putting a training camp together, perhaps for a weekend or a couple of days. We could take people to lake areas that are similar, potentially the Isle of Arran or something. The Isle of Arran is absolutely stunning. It's called Scotland in miniature, and it's got the altitude, it has the mountains, it's got everything. It's absolutely stunning. Or we could take them up to Glencoe and do a couple of days, which would probably be more relevant because it is the actual area that the race will be in.
I see.
So that's something. If there's enough people interested, that's something we could look at doing. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, I see. That would be very interesting because that would lead for people to stay longer, right? Also, so
sorry, are you talking before the race? Maybe just before it?
Yes. Or maybe.
Okay. That is something we could look at doing. That's not a problem. So rather than come for a week, they could maybe come for 10 days or 2 weeks. But if there's enough people interested, that could definitely be an option.
Okay.
Sure.
We have one question from the same gentleman. So regarding language support, so if our client needs some language support in Japanese, would you be able to provide it or not?
100%. Yeah, 100%. And apologies, I should have mentioned that on my brief. We have translators and we can do that for you, no problem.
Perfect. Oh, and real quick, I have, okay. ごめんなさい。そうですね。今ちょっと言語的なサポート。日本人のお客さんが向こうにレース参加されるときは、言語的なサポート、通訳的なサポートっていうのは提供されてますかということなんですけども、どの言語でも、サポートしてますということだそうです。もちろん日本語ももちろん対応しますということです。Oh, I just had a quick question. So you have 40 slots, right? That's limited. I mean, for the race. So it's kind of first come, first serve basis, or what? How do you decide on?
Yeah, it's pretty much first
the people. Okay.
First, We've there's probably about 30% of them have gone already. We're about to do a media preview up in Glencoe with Sky Sports at the end of the month, and our marketing team are firing up for another launch, and so yeah.
そうですね。今ちょっとこれ限定40枠、40人しか参加できない。本当に限定レースなので、全員が全員参加できるわけではなくて、いわゆるはっきり言ってちょっと先着順になってしまうんですけども、そんな形で参加されるということで、いろいろあちこちとプロモート、メディア、お披露目会とかその説明会とかそういったのはもちろんあちこちでやったりとかして、で、去年の4月参加された方でもうすでにリピート 30% ぐらいもリピーターがいらっしゃるので、残りの枠が空いてるっていう、そういうような形になりますね。
Exciting.
I like the limited 限定の
Yeah,
idea, concept.
close
Yeah.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't really have it to what we found after the first one was people, when you come to the athletes chill out lounge or the King's Lounge as we call it, it's it's having that really personal space, and you're not feeling overwhelmed with lots of people, and one of the words that kept coming up, it was actually one of the German clients who stood up and done a speech at the end, and he was raving about the intimacy of how everyone just really connected, and it was that small, really cool group, and that was quite emotional. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of having a
100%.
small team. Yeah.
Mhm. So where does the family stay? Are they nearby?
So for this one, we are looking at having a luxury lodge that's got 10 bedrooms, and it's actually on the site where we'll be running the race. So that could be an option. But what we find is the runners like to come in and then stay with the family. They don't stay out, in the outside, because they're like, there's a nice 5-star castle there. I'm going to stay there, which is fine. But it takes away from that camaraderie and the team spirit of everyone being together. But no, that's certainly an option we are looking at. And if there's always people want to come over, and family and friends and meet people at the end. So we put them up locally, and that's like I mentioned, Rebecca, that's what she does. She will help everyone from transportation and pick up and drop off, and you just let us know what you like to do, and we can sort that out.
ご家族の方たちもね、せっかくその場所にいるので、その周りのお城みたいなラグジュアリーなロッジがあるみたいなんですけれども、そちらの方にお泊まりになれるということなんですね。そうすると、どうしても参加者の方たちがご家族の方としてやっぱりステイしたいみたいな感じで、そちらに行かれたりするので、そうするとちょっともったいないかなと。皆さんチームメイトの方たちとの絆を深めるためというふうな理由もあるので、そこに本当はステイしていただきたいんだけれども、一応ご家族がいらっしゃった場合にはそういうロッジの方もステイできるということです。はい。ではそろそろ、お時間になりましたので、
そうですね。
はい。
多分
この内容もし見逃してもう少し見たい、誰かにご紹介したい、そういうことがあれば、今まで、今回のもそうですし、今までの7回の内容に関しては YouTube の方にアップしてますので、こちらの方もちょっとお時間を置いてアップロードされますので、そちらの方も、見てください。ご覧になってください。
そうですね。今、マットさんの方がチャットの方で、YouTube と Vimeo のリンクを貼られてますので、ちょっとこの辺のところ、我々の方も、後でちょっと共有しますね。YouTube の方に。このウェビナーアップしたときにですね、この辺のリンクも下のディスクリプションのところに、説明のところに載せますので、掲載いたしますので、こちらの方も参照ください。
はい。Okay, so I think that brings us to 5 o'clock our time.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock. It's only 9 o'clock here. It's really fun. It's really refreshing and nice to do a Zoom meeting when I'm early, because I'm always late. I'm always doing my meetings late. So this is nice.
I see. All right.
It's been lovely to meet you. It's been lovely to chat and have a chat with your audience, and I look forward hopefully to seeing some of you in Scotland next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Matt. Bye.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
皆さんありがとうございました。